When a girl secretly likes you, she rarely just blurts it out, not because she's shy, but because there's an art to keeping attraction fun, mysterious, and deniable. If she comes right out and says, "I like you," she's left with no cover if you don't feel the same way. But if she weaves her interest into casual conversation, she gets the thrill of hinting while keeping her pride intact. The best ones? They're not the tired "you're trouble" or "don't make me like you" lines you've seen recycled into every dating video. Those are stale because they're universal. They could be said to anyone, at any time, without meaning a thing. The ones that matter are situational. They're shaped by the exact moment, the history you have with her, and the emotional effect you have on her. Here are 21 lines that women might toss out when they secretly like you, ones you won't hear in the usual advice videos, and what they really mean when they land in your conversation. 1. You're a bad influence on my playlist. She doesn't mean you're literally forcing her into questionable music choices. This is her way of saying you've affected her mood enough that her usual songs don't feel right anymore. Picture it. You've been texting about something light, maybe you've been teasing her about her taste in coffee or food, and suddenly she tells you that now she's listening to music she wouldn't normally put on. Maybe it's something you mentioned. Maybe it's just that your conversation put her in a different headspace. Music is deeply personal. It's tied to memory and emotion. If she links you to a shift in her playlist, she's really saying, "You've shifted my emotional tone." And that's intimate. She's giving you credit for slipping past her normal defenses and changing the feel of her day. And here's the twist. When she says this, she's also fishing to see if you'll bite. Will you ask her what she's listening to? Will you suggest a song that will now carry your name every time it plays? She's inviting you to become part of her private soundtrack. 2. Stop making normal things sound interesting. You might be talking about parking spaces, grocery store lines, or why certain pens write better than others. Things so dull you'd never expect them to spark attraction. And yet, when she says this, she's admitting that you have an unusual influence. You can turn even the dullest topics into something engaging. It's a subtle compliment on your presence, not just your words. Here's what's really happening. She's letting you know she's paying attention beyond the topic. She's not hanging on your every word because of the subject. She's there for how you make it feel. That's a far more personal reveal than "you're funny" or "you're smart," because it's about your effect on her state of mind, not just your traits. 3. You just made my snack taste better. You've cracked a joke, told a quick story, or just given her a look that makes her grin mid-bite. And then she says this. Why is this so telling? Because she's associating you with a sensory pleasure, taste, in real time. That's powerful. Our brains are wired to connect emotions to senses, and when she ties your interaction to an improved sensory experience, you're building a deeper imprint than you think. It's also cheeky. She's not saying, "You made me feel better," too direct. She's making it about the snack, which keeps the tone light and safe. But you've just slipped into a spot in her mind where every time she remembers that snack, she might remember you. 4. Now I'm going to have to rethink my favorite place. Maybe you teased her about her favorite coffee shop, her go-to hiking trail, or the bench she sits on at lunch. In the moment, it sounds like a casual reaction, but it's more than that. She's telling you your opinion matters enough to change her mental map, even if she's being dramatic for effect. The fact that she's saying it means she's thinking about how you see her choices. That's investment. And there's a hint of vulnerability here. She's exposing something personal, her spot, and letting you leave a footprint on it. Most people keep those little routines safe from outside critique. If she lets you in, it's because she's already placed you in the category of people whose perspective she values. 5. Don't mess with my imaginary version of you. This one is sneaky. She's pretending you're only a character she's invented in her head, but she's admitting that character exists. That means she's been thinking about you when you're not around. In the moment, she might deliver this like a joke, but the undercurrent is this. She's telling you that she's built a mental space for you in her private thoughts, and she doesn't want the real you to ruin the idealized one she's been enjoying. It's playful because it frames her as the one in control. She's the creator of this imaginary you. But it's provocative because she's also confessing that she's been imagining scenarios involving you, even if she masks it as harmless daydreaming. 6. You ruin other people's conversations for me now. On the surface, it's framed as a complaint, but it's actually one of the more revealing compliments you can get. By saying this, she's separating you from the crowd. Everyone else is now being compared to your conversational style, and they're falling short. That's a serious mental upgrade in her mind. This is attraction by contrast. It's not just that she enjoys talking to you, it's that you've changed the benchmark against which she measures all other interactions. That's exactly how emotional attachment starts to form. 7. You made me remember something I didn't know I forgot. This is rare. It might be triggered by a story you told, a phrase you used, or even a way you laughed. Whatever it is, it's awakened something from her past. Maybe a childhood memory, maybe a habit she used to love but abandoned. When she says this, she's revealing that you've reached into a deeper layer of her mind without trying. That's more personal than just, I like talking to you. It's, you've shifted my inner world enough to pull something lost back into the light. If she didn't like you, she might acknowledge the memory, but not attribute it to you. Saying it out loud is her way of letting you know you've had an impact. 8. You'd be dangerous if you learned my favorite. She's making a game out of keeping some detail from you. Her favorite dessert, her favorite rainy day movie, her secret guilty pleasure. It's playful competition, but it's also a setup for intimacy. By leaving the blank open, she's tempting you to fill it. And when you do, she's ready to react with either surprise, how did you know, or mock resistance, see, I told you you'd be dangerous. This is her hinting at a level of knowledge about her that she isn't giving to everyone, and she's inviting you to earn it. 9. You make my to-do list worse. It's not that she's actually blaming you for a lack of productivity. It's that you've derailed her attention enough that she's willing to admit it out loud. When she says this, she's confessing that her focus keeps shifting back to you instead of the tasks she should be doing. It's framed as a light complaint, but it's really an acknowledgement that you've become a recurring mental interruption, and she's okay with it. What makes this provocative is the subtle vulnerability. She's not just saying you're distracting. She's hinting that she's letting herself get distracted, even enjoying the disruption you cause in her carefully planned day. 10. You just changed how I taste my coffee. This one's strangely intimate. Maybe you teased her about her coffee order. Maybe you made a joke about how strong it is. Or maybe you suggested a wild flavor she wouldn't normally try. Now she says this, and suddenly your name is attached to one of her daily rituals. Coffee is personal. It's a morning anchor. If she connects that anchor to you, even in jest, you're now woven into a repeated sensory experience she has almost every day. The line works as a tease, but it's also a breadcrumb. She's showing you that you've slipped into her routine without trying. 11. You're not allowed to be funnier than my best friend. Here's where playful competitiveness comes in. She's joking about loyalty to her friend, but underneath she's putting you in direct comparison with the people closest to her. That's significant. She's giving you space in the same mental category as her inner circle, even if she disguises it as a mock warning. It also creates an us versus them dynamic, where them is literally her best friend, making you feel like a co-conspirator in her personal hierarchy of fun. 12. You're going to ruin my self-control. This isn't about actual discipline. It's about her signaling that she feels herself leaning toward yes before you've even asked the question. She might drop this line when you're talking about grabbing dessert, skipping work, or binge-watching something you both like. It's wrapped in humor, but the subtext is that she's already picturing herself doing what you suggest, because it's you suggesting it. That's not casual. That's selective rule-breaking. And the rule is only bent because you're the one holding it. 13. That's exactly how I imagined you'd do that. Whether you're opening a door, telling a story, or explaining how you cook pasta, this is her saying she's been imagining you in small moments, not just big scenarios. It's provocative because it's not the fantasy most guys expect. She's not talking about some over-the-top romantic gesture. She's picturing you in the subtle everyday actions. That's where emotional attraction often hides. It's also a little risky for her to admit, because it reveals she's been quietly predicting your behavior, which means she's been thinking about you when you weren't there. 14. You've just made me want to change my answer. This one's sneaky. Maybe you're playing a light would-you-rather game or debating a silly topic. She's already chosen her side, but something you said has made her switch. It's not just that you persuaded her. It's that she wants you to know you've persuaded her. She's putting you in the role of influencer in her decisions, which is subtle but telling. Even if it's over something trivial, the underlying message is, your perspective can actually move me. That's not a role she'd hand to someone she feels nothing for. 15. You're the reason I can't multitask right now. Delivered mid-text, during a phone call, or in person while she's pretending to work, this line frames you as the sole reason she's failing at being productive. It's playful self-blame, and it's also an indirect compliment. She's admitting that her brain prefers paying attention to you over doing anything else. The fact that she chooses to tell you instead of silently dealing with the distraction, that's the giveaway. She's not trying to hide the fact that you've taken over her mental bandwidth. She's telling you because she wants you to know you have that effect. 16. Now you've made that my thing. This could be about a phrase you use, a silly gesture, a snack, even a way you hold your pen. If she says this, she's letting you know she's adopted something of yours into her own habits. That's intimate because it's subtle mimicry, one of the clearest subconscious signs of attraction. She's claiming it as her thing, but making sure you know it came from you. It's a playful way of saying, you've left a mark, without actually using those words. And now, every time she does it, you're part of it. 17. You'd be impossible to unknow. This one carries weight. She's not just calling you memorable, she's framing you as someone who permanently changes the map of her social and emotional world. It's provocative because it's future-oriented. She's imagining a version of reality where you're not in her life and instantly dismissing it as impossible. That's a bold confession, softened by the playful exaggeration. If she truly felt neutral, you wouldn't even appear on the radar of people who can't be unknown. The fact that you're there means you've already made a lasting impression. 18. You're making me like things I used to avoid. Maybe it's a food, a type of movie, a song genre, or even a kind of social situation she never enjoyed before. She's not just telling you you've introduced her to something, she's saying you've changed her emotional reaction to it. That's huge, because people rarely shift their preferences unless there's a strong emotional association. And here, that association is you. It's a quiet but potent form of intimacy. She's telling you that her taste, her habits, even her comfort zone are bending in your direction. 19. You've made me too curious for my own good. This is her way of saying she's thinking about questions she normally wouldn't. About you, your life, maybe even your thoughts when you're not around. Curiosity is a massive sign of attraction because it fuels connection. If she says this, she's admitting you've hooked her mind in a way that feels slightly risky for her, but also too enticing to resist. And the too curious part? That's her playful cover for, I'm thinking about you more than I'm comfortable admitting. 20. Now I can't unhear that? Maybe you made a clever observation. Maybe you joked about something in a way she's never thought about before. This line means you've reframed something in her head permanently. It's provocative because it's mental ownership. You've linked yourself to an idea or an image that will replay in her mind from now on. Every time it comes up, your name's attached to it. That's how playful banter turns into long-term memory hooks. 21. I'm blaming you if this turns out well. This is the inverted, I'll blame you if it goes wrong. And it's way more revealing. She's pre-crediting you for a good outcome before it even happens. It might be about her trying something new, saying yes to an event, or even wearing something different. The subtext is, I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for you. That's attraction disguised as mock reluctance, and it's her way of tying the pleasure she anticipates back to your influence.